Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Well, we're back to Japan. Remember, I was telling you they were thinking about doing stimulus, but I want to make it clear. They're not thinking about it. They're going to do it now. So there's that. But they're not the only ones. China was considering doing stimulus also. We'll come back to that. I just want to make it clear that the entirety of the global financial system is in trouble. But notice these are all areas where XRPL and Ripple are heavy. XRP is present. They have corridors there. They have specialized programs there. Whether we're looking at Japan, and we know Ripple is all throughout Japan, making deals and such. Look that up, Google search, okay, for specificity. That's a fact. Then SBI is also, has been handling business in Japan, trying to spread XRP all over the place. And we also had Yoshitaka Kitao, leader of SBI, come out multiple times saying they believe that Japan is going to run on XRP. And it's not difficult to see why. So then you have this activity, folks. Listen, look at this. We're going to get into the reasons why this leans everything in XRP's favor. It leans everything in the favor of the new financial system exploding in value. Listen to this. So this article is from Wall Street Journal. Japan plans extra bond issuance that may fuel fiscal fears. Then another article. Japan finalizes $117 billion extra budget to fund stimulus. Let's be clear that $117 billion US dollars is equivalent to 18.3 trillion yen. 18.3 trillion. We read along the way leading up to these events that there's obviously heavy opposition. But does anybody, stop to ask why? And not just why the opposition, but OK, why are they opposing it? Which should lead us to greater questions of the intricacies of what are the negatives, right? What are these negatives? That's what we're going to get into right now, because once you know that, you understand why the XRPL should dominate in Japan. They're going to need traceability because there's a lot of contention, a lot of opposition there. Everyone wants to check everyone. They want to make sure this value is not doing this or that. There's a lot of cancellation in here. A lot of what I see, and by cancellation, it means the government's doing one thing, the financial industry is doing one thing, and then another thing is being done that negates what they're doing. Literally, right? It reminds me a little. We'll see how this plays out. That's how it appears as of now. Look into that. But it looks like a lot of it looks similar to what's going on in the United States right now, where one part of the government is doing one thing and another is negating what they're doing. Can you tell me why that's happening? Once more, you don't think that that's a setup? It's deliberate? But let's stick to Japan for now. All right, so they're going to be doing this. So now let's go here. This action of dramatically increasing government borrowing to fund stimulus, despite Japan's already enormous public debt, the highest debt to GDP ratio among developed nations, over 250%. I'm just going to give you some facts. So you just have something to work with in your research to understand why XRP is going to dominate here. In my humble opinion, you don't have to agree, okay? I'm not here to convince you. So over 250%. Naturally ignites fiscal fears and poses several market risk, of which all right. And I mean no disrespect by going over this information, but this is just the facts. So, of course, increased debt to GDP. We don't need to go over that. Sovereign credit rating agencies like Fitch have issued warnings. If the stimulus leads to a sustained loosening of fiscal policy. Have we been hearing other companies? It might as well be companies, right? Countries talking about loosening policy. Let me ask you also, in this loosening of policy, I'm just asking questions and maybe you know more than I do. You know something I don't, and you can inform me. In this loosening of policy, do the positives, because there's always positives and negatives, so I'm not going to pretend like there's no positives. Do the positives outweigh the negatives? Yeah. And if not, then why is this being done? Right. They want that new financial system. They want to be trillionaires, not billionaires. They want to live like gods, not kings. I mean, no disrespect in that, but that's their mentality. They want to see the next level in their lifetime. And a lot of them are very much older than even myself. So there's this push now, there's this massive push going on to rush everything into place so they can profit off of this is not just about value, but this is about domination. This is about power, unseen historical levels of value and power. I know you don't believe that ever ended, that pursuit by people of a higher level of value and power. I know a lot of people are like, oh, these rich people, the multi-billionaires, that's nothing. And they know that. There's always a higher level. But anyway, let's keep going. And that's what they're trying to achieve with things, in my humble opinion, like Bitcoin, XRP. They're combining all that together. Bitcoin, XRP, Hedera, Cardano, Chainlink, Solana, XLM. They're going to max those things out, and most regular people will never know. They're not going to know. They won't even have it. And those things are not being spoken about in the mainstream media, not widely enough. When they do, they touch it with a facile or superficial touch. Tell me I'm wrong. Somebody out there definitely going to tell me. They typing already. Yeah, you're wrong, Mick. You're wrong about everything, Mick. I know. I love you too. They're going to be there. I respect it. All right, so let's keep going. So sovereign credit rating. Ratings agencies like Fitch have issued warnings if the stimulus leads to a sustained loosening of fiscal policy and a persistent, let me slow down. I know somebody already is telling me, slow down, Mick, read it clearly. My apologies. And a persistent significant rise in the debt to GDP trajectory, it could put downward pressure on Japan's sovereign credit rating. All right, that's not the good part. Also, let me slow down. Members only section, let me know. I saw your comments. They let me know, hey, Mick, we have time. Ooh-wee. They said, don't worry, Mick, we have time for like the video. Wow, I have so much. Wait until this next members only video. I heard you. Oh, I'm about to give you some information, and I'm going to take my time for sure. I'm going to give you a lot. All right, but I'm just saying, because I saw the comments and I'm like, okay. See, that's my, we're here. Okay, I got you. Yeah, I'm happy. Yeah, why not? Be happy. Liquidity, that's where we need to get to. You made it to this part of the video. You have the power. The power is yours. Take that power, hit that like button. Use it for a lot of other good things as well, but hit that like button. Why not? Liquidity and market risk, that's where XRP steps in, XRPL. Everyone's calling for transparency. Well, you have traceability on the XRPL. They need liquidity. They're going to need an externalized liquidity source for sure. You're going to need XRP for that. You can use XRP for that for sure. You're going to need bridge currencies, especially as you're getting more fragmentation and isolation. Did you see those articles that came out the other day about fragmentation? Did you see that? I was surprised that they actually spoke on these things again. It was in a detail that's rarely gone over. In the world of increased fragmentation, you're going to need bridge currencies. No one's trusting anyone. You see the article about, don't worry, we're going to get into this. Let me give you this information. You can go look this up. Google search, yahoo.com, something like that. I don't know. You saw where China once again is doubling down on other cryptos, and yet XRP and Ripple are unleashed in Hong Kong. Did you see that? Oh, my word. They're going to hand over that bank money, in my humble opinion. The setup looks beautiful. Let's continue on here. All right. So rising JGB yields, increased supply of government bonds. Listen to this closely, these next sections. Increased supply of government bonds, especially in a market where the Bank of Japan is gradually attempting to normalize. They were gradually attempting to normalize monetary policy. Clearly, that's not going to happen now. So where does that lead us? Normalize monetary policy can overwhelm demand. This pushes bond prices down and yields up. What happens then? What takes place when that occurs? Let's keep going. Longer dated. Does this sound familiar to you? Do we know another place where this may be occurring? Let's keep going. See, we're dropping bombs, but we're using almost like a Socrates like method where we ask questions and you allow the people to answer for themselves. Nothing better than knowing for yourself, Teach a man to fish, offer a man to fish, eat for a day. That whole idea, teach a man to fish, eat for a lifetime. That's like asking questions. Let's go. Longer dated JGB yields have already touched multi-decade highs due to these fears. Higher yields translate to higher borrowing costs for the government and potentially for corporations and consumers, undermining the stimulus's positive effect. Let me read it again. They're going to need XRPL in every possible way. Let me ask you, how do financial institutions protect themselves from a government that does not know what they're doing? I'm not just talking about Japan. I'm talking about Japan, China, UK, USA. At what point do corporations and smaller, medium-sized banks start saying to themselves, these people don't know what they're doing. We need to have some sort of method to protect ourselves. We need to have a way to operate outside the system if necessary. There comes a point when they start doing that. I think that point has already passed. Hence, externalized liquidity pools, XRP, in private ecosystems, private ledgers, extra security, traceability. We know where every transaction is going. All transactions are programmed to be fully automated by smart contracts in a combination with advanced AI. So that way, when a payment's supposed to be sent out, it happens. It arrives. It's received. Everything is noted and all parties are aware. They need all of that. Oh, the US doesn't trust this country. That country doesn't trust the US or Europe, et cetera, et cetera. Ad infinitum. Smart contracts make sure everybody is staying above board, playing fair, obeying each other's rules. There doesn't have to be this human element literally taking days or hours, whatever, to go through painstakingly all the rules to make sure that they're followed before something is settled or sent or whatever. You remove that time-consuming and flawed human element. They're going to do it. It's not whether we like it or not. Some people don't like it. Oh, well, Mick, kick the human element, Mick. It's not my choice. I'm not in charge of these things. I'm just telling you the facts of what's going on and what's going to happen. The faster people accept that, the better. Both whether they want to go against it, better to know. Or you want to go with it, better to know. Either way, you're in a river and you need an oar to paddle your boat. That's essentially what we're doing here. Providing information whichever way you lean. You're getting information. All right. So they need the XRPL, period, which is going to have all of that, which, by the way, you don't think it's suspicious that the places where they're building two artificial intelligence offerings is in Japan on, not outright, on the XRPL. Look it up. For all of you, there's a lot of new people here. You may not know. I made videos. I posted the articles, screenshots. So long-time people, they know. Look that up. Two artificial intelligence companies in Japan been working on AI on the XRPL for quite some time now. You don't think there's a reason for that? You have that. SBI saying Japan will run on XRP. Ripple going wild in Japan this year. At least that's what they report. That's what they reported. We don't have to, you and I, we don't have to believe them just because they said it. Article writers, etc., right? But that is what was said. And so now let's continue on here, folks. So it negates the positives of what they're doing. What? If this isn't a setup, you don't think this is a part of the setup? Let's keep going. It gets deeper. So just to reiterate, higher yields translate to higher borrowing costs for the government and potentially for corporations and consumers, undermining the stimulus's positive effect. So it negates. You put one here and this one cancel it out. It's like it counters itself. Let's continue. Thinning liquidity. Oh, I know the money hairs on the back of your neck. You heard that thinning liquidity and you're like, oh, liquidity, XRP. Right. When you have RWA globally, trillions, part of it, I'm not saying the entire thing. Come on, folks, be lockstep with me here. All right. When you have a portion of trillions of dollars, which could be trillions, flowing into the XRPL at some point from RWA alone, You don't think that liquidity is going to rise dramatically? You don't think the banks and financial institutions that are rapidly dominating XRP as retail sales, you don't think that they notice that and are going to use it? Where does that price go when that happens, when that occurs? Interbank payments, trillions. That was months ago when Ripple made that prediction of we could take probably 14% of SWIFT volume, 14% months ago. They've rapidly advanced since that time. You don't think that that percentage is growing? Also, you don't think that they were being nice, industry nice, by saying 14%? That wasn't a low ball? You think that was the max? When these companies speak, do they typically play it safe? Most people, when they speak, they play it safe because everyone's so afraid to be the fool. They're afraid to be the fool, so they don't really take chances, which is unbelievable because most of the advancement in humanity comes from chance taking. Whether it's Socrates speaking out, he took a chance speaking out and teaching and asking questions in the public, got him executed. But his questioning gave rise to Plato, Aristotle, Plotinus, definitely enhanced the people that he was debating with and around, like Zeno, Parmenides. So without that chance taking, maybe wisdom wise, the world, not maybe, the world will be lesser for sure. Right? So you have to take a chance. I'll give you another example of chance taking. Most people play it safe and they should not. They should not. I'm not saying always take chances. I'm just saying sometimes great advancements, most of the time, great advancements come out of chance taking. Confucius took the chance to go meet Lao Tzu, Master Lao, Master Tzu meaning Master Lao, whatever. He didn't know if Lao Tzu was going to take that meeting. Lao Tzu was way older than Confucius. He could have just said, who's this Confucius guy trying to make a name for himself? He's trying to come meet me and knowing that that's going to be a part of his history and boost him up if I speak to him. He could have just cut him off. Confucius was taking a chance. But he took the chance. He traveled and met with Lao Tzu. And guess what? You could see the influence of Lao Tzu's teachings in Confucius when you read it. And guess what? Confucius was better for it. So was Lao Tzu. Lao Tzu knowing that someone's going to carry on this wisdom, and Confucius knowing that he was on the right path and he gained some new things. He took a chance. All right. Back to liquidity. So they lowball. Most people want to play it safe. That's why, like Achilles would say, that's why their names will never be remembered in history. History is for the brave and the bold. So you and I, let's make some history. I don't know if we will or not, but I know that I want to go for that. You want to go for that, don't you? Thinning liquidity in the context of government bonds, high volatility, a lack of two-way trading interest, or heavy reliance on certain maturities like short-term notes mentioned above can cause liquidity to thin. Really? What would you call it if liquidity is thinning? Would that not be a liquidity crisis? Let me keep going. Let's keep going. I was going to say something, but I'll wait. The mechanism. As investors grow uncertain or fear a bond price crash, why is this even being set up this way? They become reluctant to buy or sell at prevailing prices. This can cause market functioning to become impaired. Look all of this up, making it harder to execute large trades without significantly moving the price, even if the government is shifting to shorter term debt to avoid long end volatility. Oh, man, let's continue on. You think that's it? A continuous rise in yields can lead to significant unrealized losses. You don't see the setup here? I mean, is it a setup? Do you think that? I think globally, they're setting the old system up for demolition. And they're trying to put this facade on it as if when it happens, look, oh, whoops, it just happened. It was natural, guys. We didn't know, when they really were the orchestrators of such. Let's continue on. So a continuous rise in yields can lead to significant unrealized losses for major domestic bondholders, such as life insurers. Did we just read about those the other day? You see that video the other day? Holy smokes, we've been cooking. Get that information. Even if you don't watch the whole video, get the articles and go look them up. You take the articles. You don't have to share my video. If you do, I would love that, but you don't have to. This is about information. Take those articles, send it to your people. Send it to your friends, your family. Let them read those articles. Send it to your researchers and your analysts. Let them read those articles. It's up to you. That's not advice. I'm just saying this is for you. Those videos have some potent information in it. Hey, I'm just saying, take while somebody is willing to just give. All right. So now, because that's rare. The giving is rare. So can lead to significant unrealized losses for major domestic bondholders, such as life insurers and pension funds. If yields rise sharply enough, these institutions might be forced into fire sales. Did you make it to this point? Fire sales. Let's keep it going. Now I'm really excited. Forced into fire sales of their bond holdings to shore up their balance sheets. This could impair liquidity. It could impair liquidity in a Japan that's said to one day possibly run on XRP. Extrapolate that how you want, right? And take that how you want. That's what they said. Japan will run on XRP. That's what they believed. That's what they said. Doesn't mean that everything's going to run on XRP. I don't know about all that. Like I said, make up your own mind about that phrase. But XRP provides liquidity. A combination of legacy system liquidity. If there's any left, there will be some left, I believe. I'm not an absolutist. A combination of legacy system liquidity plus XRP, which is, let's just phrase it, externalized liquidity, because other bank coins will provide liquidity in Japan as well. There's others there. They have a presence. That could save a company in this event of these types of activities. Also, it would make a lot of sense as to why gold continues to skyrocket. We're getting all these massive predictions on gold. And what's going on with silver? Remember we said silver would go up a long time ago? Remember that? Years ago? Remember that? What has silver been doing? Why is silver doing well? Why are we getting these big predictions on silver? Precious metals, let's just take that as a whole. Why are precious metals protective assets doing so well globally? What is the world protecting themselves from? I mean, I'm just asking questions. You like that stutter? That's when you want, that's performative. You like that? I don't know. Come on, give me credit. That was good. Go fire sales. That helped me calm myself down a little bit. See, might be forced into fire sales of their bond holdings to shore up their balance sheet. This could impair liquidity across Japanese financial markets and, in a worst case scenario, create a systemic crisis. A systemic crisis that spills over globally. You want me to believe. I know it's not you, but that one in the back. Somebody in the back right there, him or her right there. They want me to believe, right? So it's not you. All right. So I like you, kid. I like you a lot. Not too much. Hey, don't be too soft on me. I don't care who you are. Don't be too soft on me now. You gotta stay tough, stay strong. Put on your strong voice. Somebody out there's like, I'm a lady. Put on your strong voice too, like this here. Don't matter who you are. We're tough. But anyway, him back there wants me to believe that all of these systems are setting up for some sort of systemic crisis. They're putting themselves in a position where they could themselves spark a systemic crisis with all that they're doing right now. And that's just a coincidence. Is that what I am left to believe? Respectfully, I'm going to have to go against you respectfully. All right. We could go much deeper. I hope you look into this. There's a lot more. There is so much more. But what we're going to do now, because I have no idea how long the video is. I don't know. All right. I can't see the time. We're going to get to a little bit of Bitcoin news. I believe I had some Bitcoin news. As I said, I'm not worried about long term. Not worried about Bitcoin. I'm super bullish on Bitcoin. That's just my position. Doesn't have to be yours. I am not here to move you this way or that. You got to believe like I believe. I need you to. No, I don't. No. I want you to be you. I want you to be free of burden. I mean, but it really doesn't matter what I want. It matters what you want for you, right? All right. That's called respect. It's something rare in this world these days. People don't understand respect. I respect you, and I hope you respect me. But even if you don't respect me, I'm going to respect myself. That's the be all end all. So I'm going to carry on anyway, whether you respect me or not. That makes sense? All right. So this article is titled Bitcoin Forms Short-Term Bottom. $100,000 relief rally is in sight. That means those peepers, what's that over there? I don't know what's over there. Mayhaps, I'm going to say mayhaps instead of perhaps because that's just better. It just flows better. Mayhaps it is Bitcoin at $100,000. I say you're right there, sir. I don't know why I just became, what was that cartoon chicken? Whatever. Foghorn Leghorn. I don't know why I just did that voice, but I just like it. All right, let's go here. Stop laughing so much. Make you having too much fun. People don't like that. You having too much fun. You got to be stern. You can't have no fun. It was a hard day today. They like that. Bitcoin may be carving out. Do you know all of what I do comes from experience, right? Like I'm experiencing these things. I'm just sharing these experiences with you. When I say something, it's because people have said it in comment sections or out there in the world. Hey, Bitcoin may be carving out a short-term bottom after weeks of heavy selling, with one market analyst arguing that conditions are in place for a relief rally toward the $100,000 to $110,000 range. All right. So who is saying this? So someone named Mr. Crypto, respectable name, said Bitcoin short-term structure shows signs. This is coming from tradingview.com. All right. Bitcoin structure shows signs of stabilization following what he described as capitulation across the market. Well, let's go to Bitcoin. I said the other day, look, we saw resilience. It dropped to what, 80 something? Then it went back to 90. What is it today? Bitcoin. We're going to Google. Yes, Google again. Current price. I like them. They've grown on me. I used to not like Google at all. Long time ago. Yeah, I was one of those people. I liked all the other search engines, but they've grown on me. Here we go. So Bitcoin is showing currently at $91,071.62, right? I scroll down. Let me scroll down. Hold on. It's up today. It's green today. 0.18% on the day. Very nice, in my humble opinion. It's just bouncing back and forth here between 90. It looks like a low 90,000 to somewhere up here, 91,000. And it's just bouncing back and forth. That's resilience, folks. Let's go to the 5-day. Right. So Tuesday the 25th, it was at $86,674.80. And then today is $91,000. That's resilience. So even without all the other technical stuff, a lot of people don't have time for that. A lot of people don't know that. They have hard lives, stuff like that. Everyone has their burden to carry. Some people don't have time for all that technicality. Looking at the chart simply here, you can see it's rising and it's consolidating at a higher space than it was days and days and days ago. And that's called resilience. And that is positive. That is good. So what it also lends credence to what the experts at Santiment and others are saying, that institutions and big money companies, asset managers are nibbling at Bitcoin. Nibbling, right? They're getting a little bit of Bitcoin. They also alluded to them nibbling at other cryptocurrencies like XRP, etc. But look that up. Do a little Google search on that. I'm sure you already have. There's so many people out here on this channel that are perspicacious, very, very wise people. And they leave some very good comments. Like in that members only section, good comments. I appreciate those comments. Thank you. Very erudite. So Bitcoin's looking good in my humble opinion. It says he claimed that the indicators tied to trader behavior suggest that large players have begun opening new long positions. Okay, so this person's saying that, right? You hear that? Okay. How, is that different than what the professional companies were saying when they said that major companies were nibbling at Bitcoin? They were buying, that means that they were buying more Bitcoin, but just not at the massive rate that would spark a price spike, because there was still selling going on. So it kind of negated each other. It canceled each other out. You get what I'm saying? But he's pretty much saying the same thing, right? All right. So Bitcoin remains bullish, in my humble opinion. All right. Hey, I appreciate all you people out there, man. Thank you for being here. Makes my day better. I'll tell you that much. Thank you. So now that you have that information, what are you going to do with it? I know what I'm going to do with it. So until next time, everybody, let's get to the money.